there's actually a lot of questions that you ask your vendors that you probably go over with them, but these are 3 that might not necessarily think about, just kind of extras.
But they are important.
Yeah, that you want to cover it'll help you look extra prepared when you're in a meeting with them. Hey everybody, in today's video we are going to address 3 questions that you should ask your vendors. The first one is, what do you need from me to do your job specifically? So are there things, and these are going to be very general questions because you're going to have a lot of different vendors that do a lot of different things. But in general, what does your DJ need to do his job?
And I'll cite the example. We actually worked at a wedding where the girl had a tent, and it was a beautiful wedding.
Outdoor.
Right. She was outdoors, but they had a limited amount of outlets with power source to them, and the caterer needed to use them as well as the DJ. So they made it work, but it was a little bit of a situation because all of the outlets were being used by the caterer when the DJ needed to introduce the bridal party coming in. So it was a little bit touchy there for a while. Like I said, they made it work, but that's something that you need to ask your DJ. How many outlets are you going to need?
What specifically do they need to do their job that you are hiring them to do? And like for example, your cake decorator or maybe somebody that's planning your wedding for you, what do they need from you specifically? A lot of times, like when you're going and getting your cake designed, they'll need to know, are you doing a cake topper? Are you wanting to do ribbon? Do you have that purchased? Are you going to give that to them?
And when? You mentioned flowers before. If you're putting fresh flowers on as part of the decoration for your cake, you need to let them know.
That's going to be from the florist, and they're going to get that to you on the morning of the event when you deliver the cake. There's different things like that you're going to have to maybe prompt your vendor to discuss that with you. Your wedding vendors do a lot of weddings. They'll go over the general information that they give everybody, but this might be something that is specific to you that you need to know, or your wedding might be a little bit different than ones that they've done.
If you are doing a wedding it's not in your typical reception hall or something like that, you need to go over that and be specific with people that, especially somebody that's going to need a power source, or they're going to need a specific type of table or something. Make sure you're letting them know, hey, this is where my venue's at. You might want to come check it out, or let me know if there's anything special you're going to need.
Communication is key, so definitely start that conversation. The second thing that you probably want to ask them is, what other things do they supply that would be helpful in your planning process? For example, and we go back to the DJ example, they might have a database of songs that they want you to pick from. Are you going to use that, or do you need to pick your own songs yourself?
Maybe you have a special playlist that you want.
There's other things like, does the caterer cut the cake for you? Is the some caterers do, some caterers charge for that. So start that conversation on knowing like what other things are they going to do for you that is helpful. We were talking about the venues the other day. Does your venue supply rentals or a ladder if you're doing some extensive decorating? Just little things like that you don't really think of until you're in the moment and decorating. But just start that conversation. They might offer up some information that is really helpful to you that will make your life easier. So definitely ask that question on what other things do they supply that would be helpful to you that other brides maybe have used in the past. The third question is, do they need to coordinate with anybody else that you are hiring? So you're hiring a team of people the day of the wedding, and that team of people, you're the project manager, but that team doesn't necessarily discuss anything with each other.
They may meet for the first time at the day of your wedding.
Yeah, and there's a good chance that they've probably worked with some of the people that they've worked with before. But a lot of people, when you're hiring them, they need to communicate details with somebody else that they're going to be working with. For example, if you're hiring a photographer and a videographer, they might need to know who's doing what and when, and kind of introduce them ahead of time, give them contact information just in case. That's always helpful for them to know who they're going to be working with. The venue will need to know about deliveries, any deliveries that are coming in. So flowers, cake, DJ setting up, any rentals that are getting dropped off and picked up, that kind of stuff will all need to be discussed. So usually they'll want those people's contact information information and vice versa.
Right.
Usually your officiant will need to know your ceremony contact. If you're getting married at a church, usually maybe your officiant is the minister there. But if you're getting married off-site, maybe you're doing an outdoor ceremony and you're hiring an officiant. Have they been to that location before? Do they know who they're going to be working with?
And do they know where it's at?
Yeah, they'll attend a rehearsal, and that maybe is a good point to introduce those people. But a lot of the times that officiant will be working with whoever your ceremony coordinator is too. So they might want to exchange information.
And if you have somebody, and I know we didn't really touch on this before, but if you have somebody that's maybe a novice at it, maybe you've got your uncle or somebody is doing the ceremony, officiating it. They're not familiar with doing weddings like a professional officiant would be.
Or 30
right.
in a
So
year.
that's somebody that really needs to be in contact with what else is going to be going on during the ceremony.
Yeah.
So.
Or anybody you're hiring that isn't a professional wedding vendor.
Right.
They might have done DJ'd parties or taken pictures of
but
different things.
Are a
But
different
weddings
animal.
So maybe make sure that they've talked and discussed and kind of have a good idea of who else is doing what the day of the wedding and what's going to happen.
Right. Think about it. Your wedding has got a lot of moving parts on it.
Yes.
So you want to make sure that all of those parts fit together and do it the way that they're supposed to. So.
Yep. And you are the project manager of this team. So
That's
make
great.
sure.
That's a great way to put it. You're the project manager.
You are making everybody communicate that day. So.
Right. Hope those were helpful.
Yes. Good luck in your planning process, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yep. Bye.
They'll go over what they normally go over, but
if you is that going to be in there?
probably
I would start from where you were.
Yeah.
Yes.